Thank you for joining us. In this video, we're going to go over the setup and general use of our walk-behind floor scrapers. This video will apply to our ES200, ES400, and ES400S scrapers. When you unbox your machine, you will see that the handle is going to be in the storage position. Removing the wing nut and bolt will allow you to adjust the handle to 5 different operating positions. For most tear out, we recommend the straight up position. You can move the handle to whatever position is most comfortable for you. The lowest handle position is very useful if you have to get the machine into short areas like under a permanent desk or fixture. This position is also an ideal one for picking up the machine, as will be shown later. A 17mm socket wrench comes with your scraper and can be used to take apart the vast majority of the machine. Once you have the handle angle set at the operating position you want, you can use the 17mm wrench to adjust the handle grips to a more comfortable position. On the ES400 and the 400S, there are wheel cleaners on the back of the weight pack. To adjust these, loosen the 2 bolts, and then position the parts so that there's a small gap between the rubber and the wheel cleaner, and then retighten the bolts. You do not want the cleaner to be in contact with the rubber of the wheel. Note that the ES200 does not use wheel cleaners. To install a scraping blade, use a 4x4 to support the bottom of the machine. Then loosen the bolts on the blade clamp and insert the blade into the groove until it stops against the back of the groove. Then simply tighten the blade clamp bolts and you're ready to go. For safety, make sure that you are not turning the wrench toward the sharp edge of the blade when tightening the blade clamp. On the ES400S, you are also able to adjust the angle of the blade by loosening the 4 bolts on the cutting head assembly and rotating it to a steeper angle, which is typically used for rescraping adhesive, or a shallower angle, which is very useful when removing ceramic tile, hardwood, or other jobs where a shallower angle is an advantage. When moving to the shallow angle, you may need to use your fingers to put pressure on the back of the carriage bolts. Once you are happy with your blade angle, tighten the 4 bolts and make sure they are good and snug so they do not come loose during operation. To set the blade at the general tear-out angle that will work great on most jobs, you just need to set the tops of the brackets flush. This is how the machine will be set when you receive it. Once the parts are tight, you can go ahead and reinstall the blade clamp into the cutting head and insert a blade. The 400S also features a toolless quick change system, allowing you to rapidly switch between an 11-inch and 6-inch blade jaw, which comes with the machine, as well as a 2-inch carbide blade for ceramic that can be purchased separately from our website. To sharpen the blade in the field, prop the machine up on a 4x4 block, and then use an angle grinder with a 100 to 120 grit flat disc to touch up the bevel. On the 400S, you will want to have the block positioned underneath the blade jaw so the blade cannot rotate as shown here. When you sharpen, make sure that the disc rotates from the back of the bevel toward the edge. Sparks should be flying away from the machine. Do not have the grinder wheel turning into the edge of the blade, as this can cause the edge to gouge into the grinding disc and could cause injury. Try to match the original angle of the blade bevel and make a few passes until the edge is sharp again. Driving the machine is a very straightforward operation. You just need to turn the machine on and rotate the handles forward to drive the machine forward or backward to reverse the machine. The speed of the machine is also very controllable based on the amount of pressure you put on the valve. To reduce the speed, simply apply pressure slowly to the handle grips in whatever direction you wish to travel. To push the machine onto the job site, tilt the scraper back and then push or pull the machine while you rotate the handle in the same direction. You will notice that there is some resistance when moving the machine in this way. That is because the wheels are coupled to the hydraulic wheel motor. Generally, it's easy to overcome this hydraulic resistance. However, if you need to push the machine easier, then you can decouple the wheels from the wheel motor by removing the wheel pin. There are 2 holes on the back of the kick plate where you can store them. Remember to install the wheel pins before trying to operate the machine. Also, be sure that the wheel pins are installed whenever you are moving the scraper up or down a ramp. To remove the weight kit on the 400 or 400S, you will need a 17mm wrench or a socket on an impact driver. First, remove the 2 bolts that hold on the front weight. You will then remove a bolt from each side to remove the auxiliary weights. After that, you will see 3 bolts on each side of the saddle weight. You will remove the lower bolt and only loosen the top 2. Remove the bolt on the top plate, and then do the same on the other side. Now the entire saddle weight pack can be lifted off of the machine. Now that the weight has been removed from the machine, the handle can be moved into the low position, which will allow 2 people to easily lift the machine into a vehicle or around the job site. To reassemble the machine, simply reverse the process. Reinstall the weight pack, put in the bolts that hold it to the frame, then you will want to push the pack back into the handle ears and tighten up all the bolts, starting with the 3 that hold it to the frame. Reinstall the auxiliary weights on each side. And lastly, you can reinstall the front weight onto the machine. Thank you for watching our video and for purchasing our machinery. If you have any questions or if you need to reorder any blades, you can find all the information on our website.